Hello and welcome to Stay on Target, Games Radar Plus's weekly look at a galaxy far, far away. This is episode 10 and we're going to be looking at the characters we would like to come back to the Star Wars universe and also the spin-offs we would like to see. I'm Richard Edwards, I'm the editor of SFX magazine, and with me is Will Salmon, the editor of Comic Heroes.
Hello.
But before we get on to the main bit of the show, we're going to talk a little bit about the news. Now, the big news is we're talking about news that is going to happen because next week is San Diego Comicon and Star Wars is going to be there in force and there's going to be a lot going on. So main big panel presentation, they said there's going to be a lot of footage. J.J. Abrams is going to be there, Kathleen Kennedy. That's going to be exciting, yeah?
It's going to be awesome for everyone who's there. Yeah, very jealous. Yeah, and you've got to imagine they're going to bring out some of the cast as well. Well,
San Diego's quite convenient for Hollywood, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like they're having to fly them halfway around the world, so...
Yeah. Do you reckon we're going to see Han?
Well, he has been to Comic-Con now, because he went for Ender's Game and he went for Cowboys and Aliens. I think he might get quite a good reception if he does go.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It'd be quite popular. Also, it has been confirmed that we're going to see our first figure, which is very exciting. First official episode 7. It's going to be, unsurprisingly, I guess, a stormtrooper.
Yeah. That was, no great surprise there, but cool all the same.
Great, and also there's a bit of a leak gone out about, a bit of description of the character and talking a bit about the history of stormtroopers and how they went from clone troopers to stormtroopers. And
yeah, which is still a bit of a mystery in Star Wars canon anyway. I mean, there's lots of speculation, but in terms of actual facts, we still don't really know what happened.
Well, obviously they're clones, and they're all based on Jango Fett in the prequels, and then Stormtroopers they're clearly not, and we know that
and suddenly can't
Finn,
shoot.
What went wrong there? Also, I thought it was quite interesting that they've talked a bit about how after the Empire fell, we've got all these Stormtroopers spread across the galaxy, and it looks like the First Order is going to be the force that pulls them together.
See what you did there. But yeah, no, it sounds a lot like the idea of that they had in the expanded universe with the Imperial Remnant, and it kind of being after the end of Jedi, just being lots of sort of different factions, and then a new leader would rise to the top and marshal the forces. So it sounds like they've kind of updated that idea a little bit, but given them a cool new name instead.
Well, presumably Andy Serkis's Supreme Leader Snoke's going to have a big role to play in it. Yes, as long as they don't laugh at his name.
Yeah, exactly. I still, that is the one bit of this whole thing that makes you go, what? JJ, really?
Yeah. Well, there'll be lots more news next week post-Comic-Con, and we'll bring you that in the next Stay on Target. But now we're going to have a look at the characters who we really want to see come back. Okay, we already know, of course, that Han Solo is back. Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, C-3PO, R2-D2, Chewbacca, some of the big names. But the Star Wars universe is a big place, and there's got to be other people we want to see come back. Now, there's some leaked pictures that suggest that Admiral Ackbar is back, and also, now I have no idea how to pronounce it, the laughing co-pilot from The Empire Strikes Back. Sorry, Return of the Jedi. Sorry, appalling mistake. I mean, that's pretty cool, isn't it, Admiral Ackbar?
That's a nice attention to detail. Ackbar's a fan favourite, but Nien Nunb is fairly... Like, he gets, what, about 20 seconds in the whole trilogy, maybe?
Well, you do get the impression that it is just the same bit of footage looped back again and again whenever he appears. I mean, he doesn't really add very much. But yeah, I mean, it is, as you say, it's a nice nod.
Yeah. Oh, God, it'd be great if they do get him back and all he does is laugh.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
And I mean, Ackbar's return presumably means there's going to be many traps.
Indeed, yeah.
I mean, is there anyone else who we think... I mean, Lando seems the logical one. I mean, he's the kind of biggest character who isn't confirmed, and he has appeared recently in Star Wars Rebels. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's still involved in that universe, so you've got to imagine he's going to show up. If not in this one, then maybe episode 9. Hang on. No, I've lost my number. No, 8.
Episode 8, sorry.
Oh, I mean, he could show up in 9 as well. I mean.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, interesting that he's so far not confirmed. Although wasn't he hinting quite heavily? I mean, they've got to keep some surprises back, haven't they? Yeah. And I'm sure lots of other things will pop up. Now, there's a bunch of characters who are dead for The Force Awakens. Obviously, Jabba can't be in it, a lot of Imperials. But do you think they'll do a big resurrection job in Darth Vader and the Emperor? I don't think they're going to bring those guys back. Not in this film. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a flashback to Vader. I suspect we may very well get Vader and possibly a bit of the Emperor in Rogue One, because that's set right in bang in the middle of the right timeline for that. It's it's a film that's deliberately harking away from Jedi and stuff, but come on, why possibly the opportunity to bring back Darth Vader, especially with James Earl Jones recording vocals.
But he's already doing Star Wars Rebels, isn't he?
Rebels, yeah, exactly.
But presumably, though, now he's been redeemed, he'd be back to being Anakin Skywalker and wouldn't be Darth Vader anymore.
Oh, sorry, I mean in Rogue One, but for the new one.
Oh, of course, Rogue One, yeah.
But for the new one, I suspect nothing more than the flashback.
It would seem a shame, wouldn't it, having done that whole film. The whole film trilogy basically talking about Darth Vader, so that to then...
Yeah, it would also, I think, it would just seem a little bit too, like, we have no ideas, we can't come up with a new villain.
Well, of course, famously, the expanded universe brought Boba Fett back from 1,000 years in Sarlacc, that he managed to escape. I mean, that would be a cop-out, wouldn't it, really, to bring Boba Fett back that way? That's basically saying we've got this cool character, we haven't thought of anything else.
Do you know what? I don't know in Boba Fett's case, because it is such a lame ending for him.
It is rubbish.
I can well believe that he got his jetpack working, shot back out of the Sarlacc. It's fine, just off camera.
Sarlacc spin-off?
Just 1,000 years of digesting. Boss Nass.
He didn't even make it to episode 2, did he?
Was he in cameo? I can't remember. Yeah.
We'd certainly hear it if Brian Blessed was back.
Yes, yeah. He'd be shouting about that one.
I mean, that's the interesting thing with the spin-offs, though. I mean, we have talked about this before, but do we want to go back to these characters again? I mean, do you want to examine the history, or are they most of them perfectly formed? It's like Han Solo, for example. I mean, do we want to see more?
I don't think we need to in Han's case. I mean, I know there's that whole rumour about Han versus Boba Fett, and that sounds like quite a nice idea, but that sounds like quite a nice idea for a comic. I'm not sure if that's a great
Well,
film.
because he's already getting married in comics, so...
Yes, indeed, yeah. I think there's no harm in going back with some of them. I think the obvious one at the moment is Ewan McGregor, because he has said he wants to do it, and he's a good actor, not a great performance as Obi-Wan in those films.
Though I think he was restricted by what he was given and the character. I think the older Obi-Wan might be interesting. What has he been, really, what has he been doing? I mean, the hint you get in A New Hope is he's basically just been sitting around on Tatooine being a hermit. So.
Yeah. Well, you know what the Star Wars universe is like. No one can sort of exist for more than a month without running into some form of adventure. So I can imagine he's possibly gone off on some secret mission. Maybe he's met some of the other sort of scattered surviving Jedi, who there's a couple of now, if you're taking into account Ashoka and Kanan.
In Rebels,
yeah. So who knows? I mean, maybe that's a nice way to tie it all together.
And Yoda's out there, of course. And of course, the interesting thing about Yoda is we don't even know what species he is. I mean, his history is a mystery.
Yes, indeed, yeah. I honestly think one of the worst things that the prequels did, and I'm not a complete hater of them by any means, but they filled out Yoda a little bit too much, gave him a bit too much screen time. He's great in Empire and Jedi because he is on screen briefly. You get to the prequels and he's just a bit pompous and annoying, and yeah, the fighting and all that, I don't know, man. He's a character that for me works best in small amounts, wise old sage.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So while we're waiting to find out if we're going to see Lobot Wars or Dr. Evazan, the early years, that's all we're going to get for now. But next week there will be loads more because it's Force Awakens at Comic-Con. It's all very exciting. No one's going to sleep because it's one of the biggest things ever. So until next week, may the Force be with you.